Hello and welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint Show. I am your host, Jay Jones. Black Entrepreneur Blueprint was created specifically to educate and inspire Black entrepreneurs to launch, build, and grow successful businesses. Join us as we help build an economic power base in the Black community by promoting business ownership. If you are currently an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur, we invite you to join us every week here at Black Entrepreneur Blueprint.
Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, episode number 227. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and today we have a fantastic show in order for you. Because I've been traveling, today we're going to be doing a rebroadcast of one of our most downloaded episodes with a dynamic young entrepreneur, Mr. Elijah Tyson. Today's show episode is bypassing corporate America after college to start two businesses by the age of 23. Bypassing corporate America after college to start not one, but two businesses by the age of 23. Now, before we get to today's episode, I just want to share a few things. Number one, my new book is out, A New Black Wall Street, Circulating the Black Dollar Worldwide by Building Successful E-Commerce Businesses. So if you're looking to build a successful, sustainable e-commerce business, please go to anewblackwallstreet.com. Pick yourself up a copy. It's $14.95 plus shipping and handling. If you need additional assistance, I've created a compatible online course titled Educated E-Commerce, and you can enroll in that course at educatedecommerce.com. Now, for all you Black product producers, we talk about circulating the Black dollar, so I've created a platform titled Be Smart by Black that allows Black product producers to upload their products for free and market them worldwide to Black consumers. So please upload your products to besmartbyblack.com. Now, because I did besmartbyblack.com, I was in the market for a videographer in Philadelphia and I couldn't find one, which really didn't make a lot of sense to me because there's so many different great service providers and freelancers out here. So now I just created another platform for all you freelancers called hireblackfreelancers.com, hireblackfreelancers.com. So once it's up, you can connect Black freelancers to people who need your services. So if you do graphics and design, digital marketing, any of those type of things, writing and translation, video and animation, music and audio, programming and tech, anything business, fun and lifestyle. So anything that you can find on Fiverr.com, we're going to have the same categories here on Hire Black Freelancers. So please make sure that you check that out, hireblackfreelancers.com. Like I said, I started that site because I was looking for a videographer as I get ready to start on my book tour. And I need videographers not just here in Philly, but all over the place. So please put your information up on Be Smart by Black and also hireblackfreelancers.com. Also, before I forget, I want to welcome all new listeners to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint family. Welcome. I'm glad you're taking a listen. Please subscribe to all my social media connects at the end of the show. And we look forward to having you for a long, long time. And welcome to the BEB family. Today, we're going to be talking with Mr. Elijah Tyson. He's a recent graduate of the University of Buffalo in May of 2017. But peep this. Unlike most of his classmates who went to corporate America, Elijah decided to work on his two businesses that he's created while he was in college. His first one, he's the owner of Hustle Aesthetic Fitness, which is a fitness training and online platform. And also he's the CEO of a tech startup called Cold Space LLC. This young man is wise beyond his years, and we had a great dialogue. Now, after the interview, I'm going to give you some takeaways and some feedback because I think this is one of the best interviews, especially if you're in the beginning phases of entrepreneurship. So before we get to the interview, just a little housekeeping. Just wanted to remind you guys, my new book, A New Black Wall Street, is about to drop next week. A New Black Wall Street. It's a long title, but check it out. A New Black Wall Street, Circulating Black Dollars by Building Successful E-Commerce Businesses. 12 Steps to Six Figures in 12 Months Part-Time. I'm going to read that again. A New Black Wall Street, Circulating Black Dollars by Building Successful E-Commerce Businesses. 12 Steps to Six Figures in 12 Months Part-Time. It's time for us to circulate these black dollars, guys, worldwide and start learning to generate our own wealth. So that's coming up. It's going to drop next week. I'll actually put it on social media so you guys will know that. Also, my new course, Educated E-Commerce, drops May 1st. So go to educatedecommerce.com come May 1st and definitely sign up. All the pre-launch discounts are over, but still it's going to be a great course, and you're going to be able to invest in yourself to help start building your business and then be able to circulate money in the black community. We're about to get into this interview with Mr. Elijah Tyson. I got my Philly native Beanie Siegel in the background. My spidey senses are tingling. Feel something got my radars up. Feel it in the air, Beanie Siegel. And I'm telling you, family, I feel something in the air. I feel a rebirth, a rejuvenation in the black community, where we're doing more than talking right now. We're starting to take action. So if you're looking to be an entrepreneur, take that action. Do what's necessary for you to move from point A to point B. Now, normally I don't play music on the show, but I've been listening to this all day, and I figured I just wanted to drop it on y'all. I feel it in the air, baby. We are on the phone with my man Elijah Tyson, CEO of the startup called Cold Space LLC and owner of Hustle Aesthetic Fitness. Elijah, how are you this morning, brother?
I'm doing great, man. How about you, Jay?
I'm great, man. First and foremost, I want to thank you for taking the time out to share your story with the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint family. And for those of the listeners who don't know you, just tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, where you come from, and then we'll get into your entrepreneurial journey.
Absolutely, absolutely. First, I just wanted to thank you for inviting me on to the show. Your content is so powerful, man, and this is really an extraordinary opportunity for me to be here right now talking to you. So I just want to thank you for that first.
I appreciate that.
But yeah, so my name is Elijah. I'm a recent graduate of the University of Buffalo. I'm from New York. I just graduated in May with my bachelor's in business administration and marketing, and I have went on to go start two businesses, one being my tech startup, Cold Space, and the other being my fitness coaching business called Hustle Aesthetic Fitness. So I'm sorry. I need you to repeat that question one more time.
No. I just wanted to give you a little background for people who didn't know who you were.
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah, so we'll get rocking and rolling. So now the first thing I want to ask you, brother, is you just got out of college, man. How did you have the entrepreneurial bug at such a young age?
That's something that kind of was always, me personally, I feel like it was always in me, but it didn't really manifest until I was in college, just because college gave me a platform to get so many resources and do so many things. I'm West Indian, I'm half Guyanese, half Trinidadian, so I come from a West Indian background, West Indian family. And, you know, I grew up with knowing a lot of my relatives owning businesses. So that's kind of something that was always in my genes. But, you know, going to college and having so much access to a bunch of different resources where I can really explore my entrepreneurial personas, I would say that was really the catalyst towards me saying, you know what, I think I'm an entrepreneur and this is what I'm going to do.
Cool. It's interesting, man. It's also powerful because I know I'm dealing with my daughter getting ready to graduate, and I think we kind of talked about this off the air. She's all like, oh, I got to find a job. All my friends have jobs. One of them's working at Google making $90,000. Another one's doing this. So, and so dealing with that type of atmosphere with probably most of your students or people that you're graduating with looking for jobs, did that make you feel a little different or what? Tell me how you felt about that when other people are going to look to start their careers.
Yeah, man, that was That's funny that you say that, because when I came to college, I transferred to the University at Buffalo as a sophomore, and I immediately joined a business fraternity. And this is a fraternity to help you kind of foster your professional development as well as gain resources so you can get jobs at a school. So I was in a community with a lot of people that were, on that hard job search for after college.
Mm-hmm.
And it dawned upon me senior year, like, you know what? After doing my internships and really getting the feel of what the corporate world was like, and saying, you know what, nah, that ain't for me. I was, all right, you know what, I'm gonna just go straight cold turkey self-employed. And when it came towards that last spring semester and everybody's out here, I just got accepted to this company. I just got this offer, and you start seeing those numbers, and
mm-hmm.
This person might be making this. You do kind of get that anxiety, like, oh man, all these people got something definite coming towards them, and I'm putting myself in a position where that's all going to be on me. Dealing with that I just kind of had to persevere through it and be like, you know what, just have to really find that clarity and, like, is this what you want to do? And if it is, then you know what, everybody else is doing what's right for them, but I got to do what's right for me.
Definitely. So I want to let all the BEB family members know, if you're starting your entrepreneurial journey, is sometimes you're going to need some help and some company. So always network with other entrepreneurs, because they know what you're going through. Other people that aren't doing it don't know what you're going through and what you're facing every day. So I would definitely recommend, brother, make sure you stay connected to an entrepreneurial community, or have some friends that are entrepreneurs, or meet up groups or whatever, because that keeps you motivated. And it also reminds you that, you know what, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because it can get tough out there, man. Definitely.
Oh, yeah,
Definitely.
I understand that. So most of my friends right now, I've built myself into a group of friends that are, composed of mostly entrepreneurs. So, we all kind of face a lot of other similar struggles together. And, it really helps to have people that understand. Because, having a conversation with somebody that is in a different realm, maybe somebody who works in a corporate world, not saying anything is wrong with that, but a lot of times they just kind of won't get the kind of things and the kind of struggles that you go through, because they're not entrepreneurs. And, if that's something, once you experience this from the outside looking in, it just looks like you take it for what it is. But when you on the inside, it's like, oh, it's a lot of stuff that comes with this.
Yeah, it's different, man. Now, you have two businesses working, man. Which one did you start first? And that's the one we want to talk about first.
So I kind of started them both at the same. So I've been a fitness trainer for about 4 years now, about to be 4.5 years.
Okay.
I started out at the school. I started at like a calisthenics fitness club, and that was kind of like the spark of my fitness career. I discovered this really cool style of fitness called calisthenics. It's all body weight style fitness. And I just really love the mindset behind it. And it was essentially that you don't need weights, so you don't need equipment or anything somebody can give you to take your body to the next level. So I started a club at UB specifically for that style of fitness. And that's when I went and got my certification, because in order to start that club, I had to be a certified trainer. And then from there, I really discovered, like, I love helping people, and fitness, I really felt like, I was put on this earth to help people become better. So that's when I went and decided to go get a job at a gym, and I was training at a gym for about 2.5 years, and I decided at a certain point, like, I knew enough to scurry off and kind of start doing my own thing, and I kind of took that leap last October 2017 to really go, full turkey. I'm not working for a gym or a gym owner as a trainer. I'm going to be my own business, and I'm going to be acquiring my own customers and doing everything myself.
Tell me about that transition when you left the gym and you were out on your own, because that's one of the biggest things a lot of people deal with is making that transition, and it's tough sometimes. So tell me what it was like that first day when you said, you know what, I'm leaving the gym, I'm out on my own. What was going through your head? Take us back to that time.
Oh man, it was scary, man. I was like, I was working in the gym, and I'm in a place where I only have to do a certain amount of work to acquire clients. Most of my clients are assigned to me. I got small group training going on. This system works well, but I also knew I had the drive and the network to bring clients in on my own. So I was at a point where I was kind of doing my own thing on the side, but I was still working in the gym. And there was some stuff going on with the gym. We didn't know whether it's getting sold or not. All the stuff that was kind of going on. And I said, listen, man, like I gotta do this thing on my own. Like, I started looking at the numbers and saying, like, if somebody's paying me for if somebody's paying me this amount for my time, I got to be worth so much more. I just made the leap and I left the gym, and it was scary because there's so many things that came with that. I'm like, okay, well now I gotta, I thought I was going to have like 10, 12 clients left leaving me. And I ended up not having that many clients leave the gym with me to go train at the new facility that I started renting space out. So I had to figure out a way to ramp up and get some more clients. I had to figure out a way to start marketing myself on a local level, how to start competing locally. And it was all some things that I wasn't necessarily ready for at the moment, but I had to make myself ready. So I just, I did that. And I started learning as I went. And that's the thing I love about entrepreneurship, man. It just teaches you to learn as you go. It's not something that's kind of structured. That's why I feel like I love it so much, because every single day I'm learning to do something better or to look at something a certain way better. And that's just a part of it. That's just a part of this game right here. And there's the things that suck about it, but one of the things that's great about it is learning every single day.
Right. That's great insight when you're making that transition. And it's funny. I talk about sometimes becoming comfortable being uncomfortable. And so once you get out there and as an entrepreneur, you're not dependent on your paycheck every week or every 2 weeks or whatever you're getting it. And then you learn to manage like that. And so being comfortable, being uncomfortable. Now, let me ask you, what's the pay type structure in terms of when you work at a gym as a fitness instructor? Do you still get paid a salary in a percentage of what you make with the clients, or how does that work? I'm just trying to figure that out, so we'll let the BEB family know.
So it all depends on what kind of gym you're working at. If you're working at a big box gym and you're working full time, you might get paid a salary. It's usually hourly based on your personal training session, whether it's a private session, whether it's an hour, half an hour, or small group training or private training. But they usually have some sort of tier level where when you're training a certain amount of clients, you get paid more. So that's sort of how it works. And then a pay grade can be anywhere from, crappy, at working at a gym, it could be anywhere from like, $8 an hour to 25 to 30 an hour. But I kind of seen that gap in saying, I know what I'm worth and I know the service that I'm getting. And, when the gym is charging clients $80 an hour to train and I'm only getting paid, 20 something bucks an hour, I'm just like, that margin is kind of crazy, man. I said, am I really, I said, what's my hour really worth? And I have to take that in consideration, just looking in terms of like, how much money do I really want to make? And I went beyond that for my personal training business. So, I train in person, but I also run my online coaching programs. And essentially with Hustle Aesthetic, which is essentially the online coaching programs that I'm running, I wanted to create fitness programs for entrepreneurs who got little time that need to find out a system and a way and a lifestyle to live to stay in shape so they can perform at their peak performance in all the areas of life. And I made that correlation when I started going full time being a founder of my tech startup, and I'll explain that a little bit further on. I guess after we talk about Cold Space a little bit.
So one of the things that I wanted to find out, and I know the BEB family members want to know, is in terms of financing your business when you started out with Hustle Aesthetic Fitness, how did you finance that? Because you left, or did you do it and kind of set it up before you left working at one of the clubs you were working, or did you just go cold turkey and quit and say, okay, now I need to do A, B, C, D, and E, and then start my business? So how did you finance that? Because that's one of the biggest issues a lot of entrepreneurs have.
Absolutely. So one of the things is I definitely set it up, I would say, before. I set it up and kind of had to become very knowledgeable of my expenses in terms of marketing, in terms of facilities, and et cetera. So the first thing I did was shop around at a couple of other different gyms to see how much I can get space for on a monthly basis. And I found a couple of good prices. So that was one. Okay, if I got a space to train my clients and I know how much it is, then that's the beginning. Then I kind of started looking into different systems and the way I was going to market myself, and kind of trying to essentially forecast the amount of money I was going to be spending on marketing and et cetera, to kind of get around how much money I was actually going to be spending a month to run my business. And luckily for me, with most of my business being online, I don't have a lot of overhead expenses. So it wasn't, a crazy amount of expenses where I felt very that scared to take the jump, but it was definitely still a significant amount. Where I said, okay, I need to save up some money and kind of be able to produce some cash flow so that way I can cover the expenses for the first couple of months while I'm still building up.
Cool. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, you had talked about building cash flow, and your business is dead without cash flow. That's the lifeblood of your business. So
Absolutely.
tell us what are some of your most effective marketing techniques as it pertains to Hustle Aesthetic Fitness?
Hustle Aesthetic Fitness, well, considering, I'm really moving towards my online coaching platform in terms of scaling this business. And I'm doing that because of the mindset behind Hustle Aesthetic. And I felt like, again, I kind of built up a mindset towards being fit as an entrepreneur throughout my journey. And I was like, this thing works for me. And I've got other people results with this mindset and with this ideology. And I got to share this. And because of that, I kind of went into the model of kind of doing programs, but also on a monthly reoccurring basis to provide me with reoccurring revenue. So I have a couple of different tiered systems, but ultimately the business model behind that is to get reoccurring revenue, if that answers your question.
Yeah. Now, in terms of acquiring new clients for your online model, how do you have to meet with them in person first and then create their specific online program? How does that work for the BEB family so they'll kind of understand exactly what you're talking about?
Absolutely. Definitely funnels have been a huge help. I use a couple of different funneling software that allows me to almost pre-qualify my client the same way I would do in an assessment or a consultation assessment through different forms, funnels that are able to show the end result of what it would be like training for my platform, as well as answering some of the questions they may have that kind of pull them right into the point of making that decision, where it may be a call with me or it may just be a simple click into the payment where they can be automatically directed to, physical activity readiness form so that way I can start designing their program there. So funnels have been a huge marketing technique in terms of marketing my services out there to people, as well as, that whole tailoring the client in, doing the assessment, asking them what their goals are, trying to see how long they want to do a program for, all those kind of things. Funnels have helped a lot.
No, that's good to know. BEB family, that light bulb should go off right now. We're talking about sales funnels. There's all types of different types of sales funnels that can help generate a consistent amount of business. So what's your first contact point in your funnels? Is it, are you doing Facebook ads? Are you doing word of mouth, or how do you get people into that funnel initially?
A little bit of all. Facebook ads, word of mouth. It's usually a funnel that's usually run through a Facebook ad. Maybe it may be on a LinkedIn post or just word of mouth. Me being able to produce a link in some of the content that I put up organically. But what that funnel usually does is bring people into some sort of whatever value proposition I have put out there. Say if it was, are you tired of not being in shape because you don't have any time? If that has caught somebody, whatever content came with that, if that has caught somebody's attention, it'll bring them to a page where I kind of show them what type of program they're going to be on and type of results they can get from it. And usually a button that says, are you interested? Usually you got to frequently ask questions on it, because one thing I've learned from actually not getting sales is sometimes people ask questions, a lot of questions during the sales process. And some people may look at it like, oh my God, this is annoying. Like, why don't you just buy in? But for me, I kind of looked at it as like, okay, well, these are things that need to be communicated to my potential clients and customers before they even come into the program. And I started, I kind of started designing different frequently asked question forms that are in that funnel, so that way they can go into this one funnel page and see pretty much everything, get all the information they need to know to make a decision to see if they may be interested in a program or a challenge that I'm putting out.
Great. So that's a lot of different content there that you're bringing in, and like you said, you have value propositions. So you're giving them something to raise their hand. Oh yeah, let me see what this is about. And I really like that. So BEB family, you just can't come in and sell your products and services, especially this type of work. You need to be able to give people something before you ask for something. So that's on point, brother. You
Absolutely.
Young, man, but you wise.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'm trying to.
My man. So before we transition into your Cold Space LLC, because I know that kind of works a little bit with your Hustle Aesthetic, what motivates you to get up and do what you do every day, brother? I know we talked off the air about, the time you get up and you're working like crazy all day, man. What motivates you to do that, man?
Whew, oh man, that's a question that got a lot. That has a lot. I'm gonna keep it simple, man. Just being able to narrate my own life and create my own narrative. You know what I'm saying? One thing I always said is being free to me involves being free with being able to control my time. And what I see myself as, I don't see myself as a successful entrepreneur being successful because I make a lot of money. It would be being successful because obviously I make a certain amount of money, but because I can control my time. So I can contribute that time to, my 5 little brothers and sisters and my family. Really just being able to be there to help educate and to help change the narrative for our people, man, because this stuff happening every day, and we got to come to the point and realization that us as Black people, ain't nobody gonna save us, get us out the position we are besides ourselves. You know what I'm saying? It was my 23rd birthday last weekend, and
happy belated, brother.
Thank you, man. I appreciate. Actually, the day I spoke to you was my 23rd birthday. But just hearing about that kid who got shot out in Sacramento in his backyard 22 times. It's already a shame that I've learned to become numb to, like, oh man, another Black dude got shot by the cops. But it really hit me deep because I'm like, man, I'm enjoying my 23rd birthday right now. That kid right there, he is not going to be able to get a chance to experience this because of the social economic dynamics that this system has created.
Exactly.
And that just hits me. That wakes me up every single day to let me know, like, I got to be a part of changing the narrative, and not only providing for my family and myself and living a life that I want, but giving back to my community and bringing opportunities to my community so we can grow.
I like that answer, man, when you talk about freedom, because that's something that when you can get up and do what you're supposed to do every day and work on projects and different businesses that you have a passion and a love for, there's nothing greater than that. And it's kind of hard to explain that to people that are still trying to make that transition. But once you get to that space, man, it's so hard to go back. And man, I applaud you, brother, for being that young and being able to identify that, being focused on what you want to do, and now going out and trying to make it happen, putting that action behind the thought in the process. So,
absolutely. Thank you, Chad. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, when we spoke off of the air, you had mentioned to me about your tech startup, Cold Space LLC. Can you tell me a little bit about what that is and how that connects to your fitness lifestyle with Hustle Aesthetic Fitness?
Absolutely. So when I first became a personal trainer, I was still in college. It was about my junior year, and I had always ate kind of healthy, but I had really started getting into the healthy mindset and creating healthy habits. So I always meal prepped my food. I would bring my food to campus in a little like I guess lunchbox, and I had to carry the thing around all day long, and it was the most annoying thing ever. I'd be in class on one side of the campus, be like, oh, I got 5 minutes to get to my next class, and be like, oh man, I forgot my lunchbox. I may approach the female, and I gotta find a whole another seat just for my lunchbox. And it would just become carrying around my food just because I could eat was becoming a little bit too much of a problem for me. So one day I walked past this sign that said it's an elevator pitch competition, and it was like $1,000 prize. And so I walked into the office and I asked them about it, and they said, yeah, if you could come up with a problem and pitch your problem and your business model in 90 seconds, you may have a chance to win. So me being as entrepreneurial minded as I was, I said, sign me up right now. And I had about a couple of days to come up with a business idea and a small business plan behind it and pitch it in 90 seconds. So I came up with Cold Space, which at first was called University Fridge, but we changed it because you can't use the word university, these different kind of things. But essentially what it is a vending machine that allows students who meal prep their food, or maybe they bring food from home because they got specific cultural dietary needs, to be able to rent out their own, refrigerated compartment for a certain amount of hours throughout the day. So that way they don't have to carry around their food. And I ended up pitching it, and, the person who was now my co-founder and partner helped me kind of work through the pitch and the small business model behind it. And I ended up winning that $1,000. And I said, hey man, let's do this thing. And then from there, just went on. And I honestly, I spent, most people spend their senior year just kind of, turning up before they go out and got to live the life of an adult. But for me, man, I did about 5 or 6 business competitions my senior year, and I raised over $10K for my startup. And that's what kind of gave me a little bit of leeway, a little bit of cushion money to kind of really develop things through and bring it to what it is right now.
That's what's up, man. That's a great concept because, I tell people all the time when they ask me, oh, I don't know what type of business to start, or I don't know if they're in the e-commerce space, they don't know what type of product they need to look at. And so I just told somebody last night, I was doing an interview, and I said a lot of it depends on what do you use or what do you need? What problems can you solve in your personal life? And then you look,
Absolutely.
are other people having those type of issues or problems? And I mean, I think it's a tremendous idea, man. This thing could take on a life of its own, brother, because a lot of people are doing the meal prep thing. You want to eat healthy,
Absolutely.
and like you said, it could be dietary restrictions and things of that nature. And you got, instead of carrying around a lunchbox with a cold block of ice in there, or whatever,
Right.
put that thing up in, at a certain spot, go to your classes, do whatever you need to do, come back, and everything is good to go. It's a tremendous idea, man. It's a great idea. What was that, the initial idea that you had for the contest? The elevator pitch competition?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the initial idea, and it was just kind of a quick idea. I just used a model that was already very familiar with people. Like, we have this thing called the campus zip card, where you can pretty much go get a membership, and you can rent like little cars on campus to go do your shopping or whatever for a certain amount of hours. So that model was very familiar to people. So when I compared my business model of renting this fridge compartment to that zip card model, it really was communicated well with people, and I think that's what helped me win that first little 1K.
So you'd have to contract out with the different universities and provide them with the actual space. Is it a standard refrigerator, or are you looking at individual locking components, or what on the technical aspect? What are you looking at?
So there's hardware and software, and what I explained is essentially the very smaller scope of it. We got like a B2B model. We got a couple of different models and a couple of different expansions and functions of the technology. But I'm not going to go into that just because we are currently protecting in the process of protecting our IP. But to answer your question, we're not creating fridges. If you go to an investor and say, hey, I'm trying to create a new fridge, they're like, well, why am I about to give you my money so you can go out there and compete with fridge companies? We are creating more of an integratable technology that can be utilized in fridges to turn fridges into these vending machines. And that's kind of where we lie in terms of the actual hardware and the function of what we're trying to build right now.
Great concept. It's funny, man, because I get approached by all types of different, I guess I've been out there looking at different business opportunities for 20 years or whatever. So I get approached by all types of different business opportunity promoters and things like that. One guy sent me some stuff. I didn't even ask for it, but he mailed it to me about, healthy vending, healthy eating now. They're getting big now. You got that.
Right now.
Yeah, exactly. So now they're doing the healthy vending machines with so-called healthy products. I'm not astute in that in that industry per se, but they supposedly have healthy products. But yeah, everybody's looking to get healthier, eat cleaner, and live a better life. So man, I'm telling you, you're on the right track, bro. It's great how both of your businesses integrate and they complement each other. And the technology aspect, I think that can be huge, man, for you as you move forward. So I think it's a tremendous idea. So when you get up and running, man, let me know. We're gonna get you back on the show so you can promote it, man. Start making some inroads.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So that's great. So I want the light bulb to go off again for the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint family. Like I said, it's not rocket science. So this is something that Elijah dealt with, an issue or a problem that he had. And what he's trying to do now is solve the problem. And then you have to look at, am I the only one that has this problem? Or are there a lot of other people that have that problem? And I think once you can come to the realization that, you know what, other people have this same type of issue or can utilize my platform, then you're in good shape, man. And like you said, it could be ethnic, eating clean, ethnic food or whatever, dietary restrictions. And because it's a pain, man. Now that you mention it, carrying around, especially if you're eating 2 or 3 meals a day, you got, 3 containers. Right. Yeah, carrying that stuff around as opposed to putting it up. So that's great, man.
And going off of what you was just saying, asking yourself those questions, that customer validation process is also, it's, because it's funny because I got two different businesses and two different almost like landscapes, right? I got in one landscape I'm trying to scale a piece of technology, and the other landscape I am creating a service, and I'm also already monetizing it. But in that space of creating a technology, one thing I've noticed is that a lot of people don't. One of my mentors, always kind of pressed me about customer validation. You got sometimes these people who are trying to build apps, and they're spending their time in the garage building an app, and they're not going out to anybody and talking about it and seeing, what people think about it, if people will buy it, what would be the value proposition for people, because they're so attached to the idea. And sometimes they go out and spend $100,000, developing an app and the software, and then it comes out, and then people are like, yeah, that's cool, but I'm not taking away any space on my iPhone for that because I don't need it.
Right.
So just going off of that, man, I did a program. It was a 3-month program where I had to do 40 B2B business interviews around customer validation for my product. And it was all about creating non-negotiable assumptions, like, make 3 assumptions around what will make your product viable in a market. And if those assumptions are not validated, then that, hey, maybe I shouldn't try to spend 50, 100K on this piece of software or waste my time building this product. And that was super helpful.
That's what's up. And I was going to ask you about that too. How did you validate it? But you just answered that right now. Let me ask you, man, if you're talking to an aspiring entrepreneur, somebody that's working in corporate, has an idea, what are 3 things that you would tell them before they moved on to start their business? What 3 pieces
working in corporate
of advice, would you offer?
Advice.
Yep.
First advice I would advise them to do is, first piece of advice is going to be to find clarity, man. Being an entrepreneur, you got to have that clarity, man, because there's some days where you just don't know. I've had some days where I just didn't know if this was really what I was supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? And without having that clarity and understanding of why I'm doing this, I would have definitely been wishy-washy and been jumping on a corporate boat and then back off and back on, just because I didn't know it was for me. So the first piece of advice I would definitely say is clarity. The second, I would say, if you're working corporate, and you're thinking about leaving, take the time and organize your idea and the way you're going to develop idea, but use that time to save a little bit of money up. That's one thing I didn't get to do. I didn't get to work a nice little corporate job and get some checks and put a couple grand away. I was just kind of like, all right, I'm going to figure it out. So if I had went that corporate route, I would have definitely saved up some money to give me, some cushion space. But me personally, being as entrepreneurial driven as I am, I said, you know what? If I'm getting towards that point where the dollars are getting low, I'm gonna do whatever I got to do to push myself forward to get where I need to be. But not everybody has a stomach for that at first.
Right.
So definitely using your job. I would say go back and listen to that episode where you talk about leveraging your job for your business.
Definitely.
And then my third piece of advice would be to get around entrepreneur-minded people, because sometimes your biggest, you're gonna face a lot of adversity, especially when you're trying to quit a corporate job to go start a business. Sometimes that adversity is gonna come from your close people like your family, and sometimes the people you're surrounded by, they might have a corporate mindset, and you telling them you want to go do this, they have no idea what that's about, so they might be filling your head up with things that that shouldn't really matter, or things that you shouldn't be thinking about, or things that aren't going to give you clarity. So just kind of trying to find an entrepreneurial community to really facilitate yourself in an environment where people got that growth mindset and that risk-taking mindset, so that way when you get into that position, this thing doesn't become a bowl of anxiety for you. You kind of like, all right, you got a little bit of clarity and you're ready to push forward.
That's great advice. Now, I know that you just started your businesses not too long ago, but can you tell us about a specific time in your business where you failed or had a major setback, and what did you learn from it, and how did you deal with that?
Absolutely. So I'd say I'm gonna talk about Code Space, just because I've had multiple failures and setbacks in there. But the biggest failure setback we may have had was our first business competition. Our first business competition that required a lot of development behind our business plan. We made it to the semifinals, and we did not make it to the finals. And it was about $25K on the line for that business competition. And we were just kind of we were really disheartened by our loss. There was a lot of ego involved in, like, oh, we did better than this, and we should have did this, and then it was a loss financially. But what we learned from it was so many different things that helped become the catalyst to push our development and the way we thought about our business forward. And we kind of stepped back away from the ego and away from the feeling of being hurt, and kind of said, okay, well, let's look at this in perspective of what we could have done better. And we found so many different breakthroughs in terms of personally me just pitching my idea and pitching the message, all the way into our business model and the way we plan on, getting the market. So many different, holes we were able to poke through that loss. If it hadn't happened, we may have gotten to a position where we thought we were right and everything was going good, and we may have took a bigger loss that may have even been worse.
That's good. You're learning from your setbacks and not letting it deter you, but it actually helps you create and hone your skills and your pitch to move forward. So that's what they say, taking lemons and turn them into lemonade. So
absolutely.
Yeah, that's definitely. So was that the biggest competition that you lost in terms of the dollar wise, in terms of the reward for the competition?
Yeah, I think I would say that is. We had one competition where it was about $100K on the line.
Oh man.
But we kind of knew we were still in the pre-prototype phase, so we were shooting for a certain mark on that competition, and we kind of got very close to it. But in terms of that competition, that $25K was feasible. So I would say that was our biggest financial loss.
Now, can you tell us, where do you see yourself and your businesses in 5 years?
In 5 years, I see myself in a position where I'm growing my tech startup. I am really getting some traction in the market. Becoming first to market is my huge thing right now, and kind of penetrating as fast as we can to get it to as many universities as we can. But within that, building my brand, Hustle Aesthetic. So this is going to come full circle back to what I was talking about and why I created the platform Hustle Aesthetic. And essentially, as I began to step into these entrepreneurial shoes, especially from the tech startup end, I started being in places where I was in rooms with a lot of people that didn't look like me. I was having to complete projects that I had no idea how to do, and that were completely out of my scope of knowledge, and I just had to figure things out. And with that came a huge responsibility on the decisions I was making every single day. And I had to create habits behind those decisions and a routine. And, with that came my health. And you may check my Instagram stories. I'm at the gym at 5 a.m. every morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a part of my habits. So where I see myself in 5 years is essentially, still in the growth phase of my tech startup, but with that, branding myself to my coaching platform along with that. The same way Gary Vaynerchuk runs his media company, but he makes all his content for his thought leadership brand in between meetings because he's living in his brand.
Right.
And I see myself as a CEO of a tech startup who is fit and who has a mindset, who's living within that brand. And that's what Hustle Aesthetic is. It's being able to embrace your power and being able to have a certain mindset as an entrepreneur and as a leader, where your health comes into a large play with the way you're performing and the way you're living your life.
Oh, that's what's up, man. See, I mean, you really thought this through, and this is very important, because it's almost like playing pool. So you looking at the second and
I got
third
drawing
shots.
boards all over my house, man.
There you go.
I got whiteboards all over the house.
Yeah, because you gotta look at not just this shot, but the next shot, the shot after that, and you gotta set it up.
Absolutely.
So that's tremendous, man, that you have the forethought and the experience at this young age to be able to understand that this is what you need to do to be successful in the long run. Now, you've had a lot of successes, man, and we talked about one of your setbacks. But so far in your entrepreneurial career, tell us what's your greatest achievement in any of your businesses? And it could be something minor that we may not think is great, but tell us something that your greatest achievement is in one of your businesses.
I think the greatest achievement, I feel like every day in my fitness coaching business, my greatest achievement is me being able to get people results. But I think my greatest achievement was helping one of my clients. I had put him through a coaching program, and we had worked through kind of a fat loss and muscle gaining journey. And they got really good results, and they really followed all the information I gave them, and they followed the mindset. But after that, they had kind of hit me up with a private message really talking about how, there was some really bad things happening with their life at the moment, and how, this mindset that I was coaching and what I had them doing physically really, really helped them push through that. And for somebody to tell me that, I changed their life, what I do, man, that hit me deep, man. And I didn't really notice, I love helping people, and I've always felt like I've been put on this earth to help people since I was young. I felt like I always seen the light and potential in people, and always made sure I was able to push that from my family members to friends. But when I had that one conversation with one of my clients, and they had told me, that gave me the information about what they was going through and how deep and crazy it was, and how working with me really gave them that light at the end of the tunnel. Man, that hit me deep, and that's when I became I was already passionate, but that's when I knew that, I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And I think that was the most successful moment in my businesses this far.
Man, you're gonna have a lot more of those coming. I trust me. But I'm telling you that's beautiful, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, brother, that's beautiful, man, because it validated everything that you thought, your concepts, and people don't realize how much we impact others by just basic contact. It's funny, I got an email today from a brother in London who was got fired from a job in McDonald's, and he was telling me, man, listening to the podcast, now he's doing importing and exporting, and he's making crazy money, and he sees his former boss at McDonald's riding her bike to work, and he's over there doing this thing. He said that, I inspired him, and I was like, man, that when you get that type of stuff, it just validates that you're living in your purpose. And once you're able to identify what your purpose is and be able to create that sweet spot to be able to give whatever your purpose is, because we're here to serve. That's why we're all here. And once you can put that, your purpose, and being able to serve together, man, it's going to put you in a mental place. The money hopefully will come, but it'll put you in a mental place where you know that it's right. This is what I'm supposed to be doing, man. So,
absolutely,
brother, yeah.
And Jay, just going off for that, man. Like, one thing I love about your content is like, so, we live in this age of information, especially in thought leadership. And one of the things you spoke about is how you got all these dudes yelling at you, telling you're supposed to have a specific routine or mindset towards something, but none of them is really giving you the steps you got to take to do that, And when I listen to your podcast, I've always been about growth mindset. But, when I started listening to your podcast, it sparked a sort of like an actualization inside of me, because just your content, man, I think it's the best content out there, because you're really breaking it down step by step on how to do these things. And most importantly, the majority of content I'm listening to is from dudes who don't look like me, right?
Right.
And it's like, that's all great, and that's all great and gravy, but that just goes back to this whole educational system where you put in a position where if you don't have that knowledge of self, you might be put in a position where this educational system teaches you that to do something extraordinary, you have to be of a certain kind of person or a certain kind of value. Exactly. And listening to you, man, just listening to somebody who I can relate to, give these steps, man, that really sparked a catalyst inside of me to get things going, man. And I just want to thank you, like, really personally, man. Like, my boy had put me on to your podcast, a couple months back in 2017, and I've not missed a Monday.
My man, I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate it, man. It's like I said, it's living your truth, sharing your experiences for others. And once again, because I got kind of tired of a lot of the crap that's out there too. Motivation, you got the motivational cats out there doing their thing, which is good. You can use that too. But if you don't know the steps to get from point A to B, that motivation is going to wear off. Now what I do.
100%. Yeah.
So that's why I try to make each episode with some actionable steps and things where people can move the needle from, A to point B and keep it moving. But I appreciate that, man. We're about to closing out shortly. I just got a couple of quick questions for you, man. Before we close out, we're going to let you give all your handles out and everything. But are there any particular books that you would recommend that the audience read that you found helpful?
Man, that's funny. I'm sitting in front of my bookshelf right now. let me see which ones on here that I got. But honestly, man, I would say I'm gonna pick my top three.
Okay.
And one of them is gonna be How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
Oh yeah.
The other one is going to be so I'm gonna go two business books and one of more of self-awareness. The other one's gonna be The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. And you know, my last one I would have to say is I'm gonna have to go with The Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. And that's not really a business book, but one thing that book taught me about was learning how to clarify your values, and once you kind of got those locked down, don't nothing else matter. And the reason why I'm talking about that book is I'm 23. You know what I'm saying? I it's a lot of distractions out here for me doing what I'm trying to do, and I recognize those distractions. But sometimes I gotta put myself in a position where I understand my values and what I'm trying to do, and say, you know what, that fear of missing out and all that stuff don't matter right now, because here's what I'm about, and here's what I value, here's my morals in life, and really, I shouldn't have anything else interrupting that. So yeah, those three books right there, man.
That's what's up, man. You're wise beyond your years, bro. Yo,
thank you.
Yeah, man. So now, before we close out, man, tell the listeners how they can connect with you via social media. And before you do that, though, because I'm telling you, man, your Instagram, man, I used to be able to have a vertical. I used to have a 39-inch vertical, right? I'm 5'10". I used to be able to dunk with two hands back in the day. I can't do it anymore. But on that Instagram video, when you jumped on that big tire, man, I was like, man, I miss those days, brother. But tell us how we can connect with you, man.
Absolutely, man. I'm on Instagram. My personal page is Tyse, TYSE _the _trainer. My Hustle Aesthetic fitness business page is going to be The Grind Tribe. I'm also on LinkedIn as Elijah Tyson. And those three right there, those are my main handles.
All right. Now, one of the last questions I always ask my guests, man, if there was one person that you could have a conversation with, living or dead, who would it be and why?
Malcolm X.
All right. Tell me why.
Just because of just the way he was able to organize his thoughts and connect his thoughts with people to inspire actions was, I believe, was just out of this world. Malcolm X is one of my favorite civil rights leaders. And just the way I connect to him, just from hearing his speeches and reading his biography and that kind of stuff, that man had power, and him being able to harness that power and utilize it responsibly was something that is a very hard task to do as a human being. So that's why it would be Malcolm X.
Definitely. Yeah, he's great leader. Very prominent even today, even after
Absolutely.
He's been dead X amount of years. And a lot of the content and the concepts that he had are still prevalent. Brother, is there anything else that I forgot to ask you or you'd like to add before we close it out, man?
Listen, if you are an upcoming or an entrepreneur trying to get in shape, and you got little time, or maybe you need an environment that's more supportive of you, go on, visit me on my social media handles, or go and hit my website, thegrindtribe.com, and I got a bunch of tools on there looking to help entrepreneurs kind of facilitate a little bit of an easier landscape, so that way they can get the body of their dreams while they're building a business of their dreams.
That's what's up, man. And I just want to ask you real quick, and I know what the answer is, but I want you to expound on this. So how important is it to get your physical in order when you're an entrepreneur?
Whew. Oh man, it's 180% important. Just for the simple fact that being an entrepreneur, you can have a mindset, you can have certain habits, but it all breaks down to the decisions that you make and what you do with your time. And a lot of times what you do with your time is contingent with how you feel with your time. You know what I'm saying? And especially being a black entrepreneur, it's almost like you got two jobs. One is just being a black entrepreneur, and two is being an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying?
That right, brother.
And with that comes a lot of anxiety that we got to deal with. You know what I'm saying? And making sure that your body is performing and giving you that output that it should is one of the most important things. Your body is think if you were to, you know, I don't like to compare people's bodies to objects, but if your body was a car and you don't take care of your car, what's going to happen?
Break down.
It's going to break down.
Yep.
At the time you need it most.
That's
you're going
it.
to be like, damn, only if I would have just stopped. You know, if I would have just stopped being cheap and got that oil change and did my brakes over.
Yep.
The same thing. You know, people think you get a lot of times, especially in the tech startup world, but just overall, you think that being an entrepreneur involves a bunch of late nights and coffee and not eating like crap. Listen, man, you're going to burn out. It's at some point sooner or later. And you don't want to burn out at the wrong time and miss out on an opportunity that could be a big break. So take care of your body and keep it 100 so that way you can be performing not just in your business, but in every area of life the way you want to.
My man, I appreciate you, brother. One more time before you close out, man, give us your handles real quick.
Absolutely. I am on Instagram. My personal handle is Tyse, TYSE_the_trainer. Also, my business page is going to be The Grind Tribe, and I'm also on LinkedIn as Elijah Tyson, ELIJAH. Tyson is going to be TYSON.
My man, I appreciate you, brother. Hey, look, I know I'm going to be hearing good things from you in the upcoming future. We'd love to get you back on, man, later on down the road, 6 months, whatever,
Absolutely,
9 months.
Man.
So you can give us an update of what's going on. So Black Entrepreneur Blueprint family, most definitely, we want to support my brother Elijah Tyson, a.k.a. Tyce the Trainer. And you know how we do it. Anybody that comes on the show, please show that love and support that we always do. My brother, I appreciate you, man. And like I said, we're going to be in touch off the air also. So I appreciate you, man.
Absolutely,
Thanks for
Jay.
sharing your time, brother.
I appreciate the opportunity, of course. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome, brother. That's Elijah Tyson, a.k.a. Tyce the Trainer. Brilliant young man. Just have a few takeaways about this interview. This is one of my favorite interviews for several reasons. Number one, he's a young brother that's out there doing something. He bypassed corporate America because he wants to live his truth. And that's powerful. A lot of people can't do that because we're designed to go to college, go to school, go to college, and then get out and get a job. And he said, to heck with it, I'm going to live my truth. And so one of the benefits that he has is he's actually started his training business while he was in school. So that gave him a little head start, a little jump. Now, with the Cold Place LLC, I think that's a tremendous idea. And hopefully that he'll be able to move that forward. And we'll be able to see that all over the country, all over the world eventually. I said it a couple times in the show, but he has for a young age, he's very wise. A lot of wisdom in that young man. And, you know, one of the things that I definitely took away from it, when I asked him about his 3 pieces of advice for new entrepreneurs, he talked, number one, about defining your clarity or having clarity. Why are you doing what you're doing? Second, he talked about organizing your ideas and saving money. And he mentioned one of the episodes I talked about being able to leverage your current employer by saving your money. And the third piece of advice he gave was to get around entrepreneurial people. And you need to do that because, once again, we're kind of a different breed. And if you don't have those type of experiences or similar experiences, sometimes it's hard to be able to translate how you're feeling or what's going on in your business because a lot of people just don't think like we do. So those things stood out to me also. But what I really liked was he was focused. He mentioned that, you know, he can't do some of the things that his classmates and people his age are doing. He gets up at 4:30 in the morning. He goes to the gym. He's focusing on his body because your body definitely affects your mind and the way that you perform. And so he can't be out there running around. We talked off of the air, you know, pretty candidly. And you can't be running around, you know, drinking, chasing women, you know, staying out all at night, stuff like that, and be a successful entrepreneur. Not just, you know, with one business, but 2 businesses. And if you're a personal trainer, that's a part of one of your businesses. You have to be in shape. You have to have that energy to do what you do. And what I liked, he also talked about moving forward. He's trying to take his online coaching for his personal training to scale his business because he understands he can't trade dollars for hours. And after the interview, we talked And we were just talking about some of the things that he's about to go through or going through as an entrepreneur. And one thing I will tell you guys, if you're able to create a passive or semi-passive form of income, that will free you up to do whatever God put you here on this earth to do. Be it real estate investing. You know, yeah, you're going to have to do a little work collecting the rent. You might have to, if you don't have a property manager, you're going to have to fix things at your, rental places or whatever. But creating a passive or semi-passive income. Had a conversation with my daughter. She wants to write. But obviously she has to make money if she moves out to LA. And I was telling her, I said, you need to create passive or semi-passive income with, creating an online course that we had discussed before. Certain things that she's good at. So if you're looking to transition, you need to be able to replace your income. And if you can replace it with passive income or semi-passive income, e-commerce, yeah, you're going to have to do a little bit of work, but it's really passive income. Real estate investing, if you're renting out properties, you're going to have to do some work. But once you get it set up, it's passive or semi-passive income. And once you have that coming in, that frees you up to do whatever you need to do. Work on projects that you want to work on. Travel, do whatever you want to do. So I think that's the key to building the lifestyle that you want. I enjoy doing everything I do. I enjoy doing. I love doing the podcast. I love coaching. I love the digital marketing. I love creating new businesses and e-commerce with my different brands and my different products. I'm doing everything that I enjoy doing. I enjoy writing my book. The e-course that I'm doing that's getting ready to come out May 1st. I enjoy that. So I'm living in my purpose. So if you can create some type of semi-passive or passive income, that's going to free you up to do all kinds of things. But please, as we always do on the show, guys, let's support anybody that comes on the show. So you can go to thegrindtribe.com, thegrindtribe.com. And also on Instagram, it's Tice, Tyce_the_trainer. Tice the trainer, Mr. Elijah Tyson. Young brother, we're going to definitely keep an eye out for him and have him back on the show, maybe in 6 months or a year to see how everything is going. But I really loved his passion, his fire, and his determination to get where he wants to get and do what he wants to do in his life. And he wasn't sidetracked by doing the normal thing what most people do after college is going into corporate America. He always can do that. He's got his degree. So if he falls down and he has to come back into corporate, he's able to do that. So he does have a security net for him there. But as we close out, if anybody needs to connect with me, if it's anything long, please feel free to email me at jjones@blackentrepreneurblueprint.com, JAYJONES@blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. Facebook, just go to Facebook, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Twitter, JJones001. It's JAYJONES001. Instagram, JJones4Real. That's JAYJONES, the number 4, REAL. YouTube, please go to YouTube and subscribe to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint channel. I have different content on YouTube. And when I start my new radio show on WOL in Washington, D.C., that's going to be uploaded to YouTube. Once again, that's not going to change anything about the podcast. It's just going to be additional content. If you want to be included into the BEB text line for any special notifications and reminders, please text BEB to 555-888. BEB to 555-888. Also, LinkedIn. Please check me out, J Jones, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Go to LinkedIn and please connect with me on LinkedIn. Once again, guys, I love you guys, and I'll see you same time next week. Peace.